Chapter 2. Part 2. Agnoruk closed his eyes and couldn't help but recall a scene he had never been able to forget, as he watched the pyre burn. His mind went back 12 years, he could remember it as if it had happened this afternoon. I felt like I was tied to a pole with a tremendous blow to the head, I heard the screams, I felt the terror again. He visualized how the leader of the bandits begged for his help and then was brutally executed by a blue demon. He will never forget the sight of the bodies of the bandits twisted on the ground, the smell of burning flesh flooded the place. Agnoruk could not take his eyes off his leader's spoils, his eyes wide staring at him as Gosburg engaged in untying him. The Denka's eyes no longer had that deadly blue glow. Well, matter solved. You've killed them all. Agnoruk complained, disgusted by the massacre. It was the fate they deserved. Gosburg replied without flinching. What are you? Gosburg seemed to ignore him, while the Denka was looking for something in the bandits' camp. He didn't look very nervous. Ilaben. His answer was natural without giving importance to what he was saying. Ilaben. Agnoruk exclaimed, not believing what he was hearing. Yes, yes. Ilaben, the cursed god. The one who has been wandering Shanaris for 5,000 years. The half-orc couldn't get over his amazement. It could be another extravagance of the Denka, but what he had just seen was irrefutable proof. Gosburg stopped, turned his head to look at Agnoruk. He seemed somewhat annoyed by the half-orc's disbelief at his words. He spent the entire era of the damned living with mortals, and I can only tell you one irrefutable fact: every day that passes the number of assholes who deserve to die increases exponentially. Agnoruk sat up, his head hurt, he was bruised all over. He watched as Arian lay on the ground, apparently safe. Gosburg seemed to guess the half-orc's thoughts. I can't afford to lose either of you. Both. You don't know who you are, do you? Who am I? Agnoruk didn't understand what the Dengbi meant. Gosburg lit a cigar and took a seat over the corpse of a slightly burly bandit. Everything in due time. The first thing you should know is that everything you have been told is a lie. And what is the truth? Vanis Annika Ajara Lamianal. Gosburg seemed to be talking to someone else. Then it was the first time he saw her. An ebony angel appeared before him. She was tall, over 2 meters, calmly, slender figure, 2 long arms that bore her characteristic krotoas. Her hair was a long silver maner. He possessed powerful legs that ended in a kind of sharp claws. She moved gracefully, she looked like a shadow, her 2 huge eyes stood out on her face, bright, with the same pupil as a cat. They locked onto the half-orc as he advanced toward them, the weapon stained with blood. So it wasn't just Gosburg who had been involved in the massacre. Agnoruk introduced you to Vanis Sigfri. What is it? I am a Kendali, my lord. Vanis replied in a slight whisper, that voice so characteristic of the Kendali. You're crazy. Kendalis are small and harmless. Although Agnoruk had seen at most a handful of Kendalis, he always recognized them by their small size and being completely covered by a robe. Gosburg smiled, bent down to examine the unconscious Arian. First lie, the Kendalis are the children of the gods, they were created before the elves. Spoke the Denka while affectionately touching Arian's forehead. But now that their power has languished, they show themselves in a much less powerful form, but that doesn't mean they aren't fabulous warriors when circumstances call for it. Vanis also examined Arian. He seemed to have a great affection for the young woman. Lord, I have protected her since Caesarea. She was never in real danger except on 2 occasions. No one could follow her trail. I only had to finish 2 in Xeres before your arrival. Gosburg took the young woman and handed her to the Kendali. Let's go back to the Agnoruk camp. Is Arian important? Shanari's future depends on her. Agnoruk didn't understand anything, much less when he saw how the Kendali transformed when she arrived at his camp into a small, totally harmless-looking hooded being. Before Arion awoke, Gosburg yawned, looked at the young woman and then at the half-orc, then warned him. Of course, Agnoruk says that all this is a secret. And with that the Denka began to sleep. That night Agnoruk could not sleep for what he had just seen and also had no choice but to do as Gosburg told him. Agnoruk returned to the present. Tanya was crying. The half-orc understood her perfectly, for he had felt the same way that night in the bandits' camp. He hugged the dwarf. In his chest he felt how the part of the deformed face was rough and rough. Don't worry, if he has saved your life, it is because he has confidence in you. The dwarf stopped crying. But don't think anymore, play with the marked cards, it's time to rest. In an unusual gesture, Agnoruk allowed the dwarf to sleep in his room. The captain lay down on the floor. Resting at least for a while would make things look different in the morning.